Well, I'm going to begin by asking you what it was about the sort of gothic romance that just enticed you into making a film.
Well, look, I mean, I think you feel about films like you feel about food in a way. You're looking for a different flavor now and then. And this is a flavor that is quite unique. It's like very exotic. And you haven't had it in so long. I mean, the last time I saw a proper, lavish gothic romance must have been 30, 40 years. So I felt it was good to bring it back into the sort of filmic conversation, you know?
I mean, it avoids being a pastiche, but was it still a challenge to be sort of affectionately kind of adhere to the kind of tropes of the genre at hand and yet never feel imitative?
Well, it's easy when you know that you are not doing it to a particular film, but it's actually a model. I mean, when you think that Jane Eyre has the same type of journey than Rebecca, and Rebecca has the same type of journey than Dragonwyck or The Secret Garden. I mean, you're not exactly, you're making it recognizable as belonging to the genre. But then within that structure, you try to fracture everything you can.
I thought the sort of attention to detail and the way everything was so deliberately placed, even the sort of to the extent of the shadows were so kind of specific, was kind of striking. I mean, do you think you were more meticulous with this and the aesthetic than you have been on any project before? Because it felt like it.
Yeah, ever. I mean, this movie is the most beautiful movie I've made, and it's the most deliberately designed movie I've made, and the one with the most obsessive attention to detail I've made. I mean, normally, let me put it this way, normally within 6 months I pack the post-production of a movie. Sometimes Devil's Backbone, which is my other ghost story, I finished the movie 12 weeks after wrap. This movie took 12 months. So the difference between 12 weeks and 12 months tells you how obsessed I was.
And did you have a big say in the kind of design of the ghosts as well? Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, of course. I mean, everything you see needs to. I mean, I think that a director is a huge arranger and traffic controller, and sort of you need to be in everything. And the design of the ghosts responded to the general color palette of the movie, being the only red thing other than the clay and Lucille connecting them, the three of them. The aspect of them was inspired by a book I read as a kid that had bug mummies, you know, these mummified corpses that are pressed by the black clay. So I thought, let's use them with the red clay, but make them be striking, sort of beautiful in a very creepy way.
And I mean, there's something very sort of enchanting about Crimson Peak, but then it gets quite violent in parts. I was wondering what the thinking was behind kind of having quite graphic violence in a movie that otherwise is quite sort of otherworldly.
Yeah, you know, the idea was to replicate the effect that Gothic romance novels had in the 1800s when they were read in Victorian parlors. You know, you have the parlor ladies reading the novel and sort of very, very titillated, and it was because the sex and the violence in those novels was extreme for the time. So you need to replicate sort of this overwrought, melodramatic arch. You know?
I've come from a sort of Disney preview this morning with their kind of, and they showed a kind of a montage of some of their finest moments, and it reminded me that Pinocchio is my favourite ever Disney movie. Of course, you're tackling that one next. I was wondering what we can expect from your retelling of this sort of classic tale.
Well, Pinocchio, I'm going back to the original book. I think the original book is much more strange and disturbing in a way than the Disney version. The Disney version is one of my favorite Disneys, and is one of the scariest Disneys too. But I think what we're doing is we're bringing back some of the sort of fairy tale charm of the original that has less logic, and at the same time we're making it sort of a metaphor, because it's in between World War I and World War II in Italy, the rise of fascism. So perfect for a puppet to live in that time.
And just finally, very quickly, there's obviously rumours about Pacific Rim 2 sequel. I was wondering if you could shed any light on that and if it's something you'd be interested in doing.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I mean, if they want to do it, I'll do it. We are turning in a new budget, a new script, and we'll know soon enough. If they say yes, I'll say yes in a second, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you,
appreciated.
A pleasure, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey